What's up, my comic comrades? Today we break down the origin of Red Guardian, who's making his MCU debut in the Black Widow solo movie played by Stranger Things' David Harbour. He's a pretty cool character in the comics, so let's see what he's all about. Red Guardian first appeared in the Avengers issue 43 in August of 1967. He was created by Roy Thomas and John Buscema. Alexei Shostakov, aka the Red Guardian, was the second person to become Red Guardian, but is the most prominent one and the one we will see Harbour playing in the MCU. Now, even though he was the second Red Guardian, he was the first Red Guardian we ever saw in the comic books. We didn't learn about the first Golden Age version of Red Guardian until Namor the Submariner Annual 1 in June of 1991. The first Red Guardian was also Russian and named Alexei Lebedev. Not a whole lot is known about him, but we do know he started his career around World War II, and he was meant to be the Soviet counterpart to Captain America. As for Shostakov, the main focus of today's episode, he was born in Moscow, and get this, he was the husband of Natasha Romanova. That's right, in the comics, this dude was married to Black Widow. Shostakov would soon become a test pilot and KGB agent before ultimately training and becoming the Red Guardian. Shostakov was easily one of the best pilots the Soviet Union had. For instance, during World War II, he shot down a significant number of fighter planes in aerial battles and was credited for helping the Soviet forces win air supremacy over the skies in Stalingrad and Kursk. Because of his Top Gun skills, Shostakov was picked to test a secret and dangerous new aircraft for the Soviets. He would soon become an extremely decorated hero of the Soviet Union with the help of Russia pushing his greatest feats through the news media. As the Cold War started up in the 1950s, Russia realized that the Soviet Union needed their own version or equivalent of Captain America. And of course, Shostakov was selected to be their version of Cap. So the KGB faked his death and started training him in secret, even keeping his survival a secret from Natasha, his wife. It's during this time he trained to be a master in hand-to-hand combat and all-around skilled athlete, ultimately becoming the Red Guardian. But it was during his time training that Natasha, Black Widow, was like, forget the KGB, and defected to the United States. While the Red Guardian remained loyal to Russia and became more ruthless. He would ultimately battle the Avengers with his Chinese ally, Colonel Ling, in order to protect a communist Chinese secret weapon that was located at a secret military base in the People's Republic of China. It's during this battle he would come face to face with Captain America and his former wife, Black Widow. But Black Widow is far from dumb, and she noticed something familiar about Red Guardian. So he reveals his identity to her. But that sweet reunion didn't last long, as he was shot and killed minutes later by Colonel Ling as he was trying to save Black Widow and Captain America. Shortly after this, a life model decoy, which are robots made by S.H.I.E.L.D. to mimic humans, was made in the likeness of Shostakov as seen in the Widowmaker crossover story. This life model decoy would start going after spies and eventually set its sights on Mockingbird and Black Widow. But Black Widow destroyed him, or at least we were led to believe she destroyed him. But it was later revealed that this life model decoy was still alive and had risen very high in power within Bulgaria as Ronin. Yes, the same Ronin mantle we saw Hawkeye take up in the comics and in the MCU. But now you may be wondering about his powers and abilities. Well, like I said earlier, the Red Guardian was trained by the KGB in many forms of unarmed combat, becoming an expert at each. He was also considered the best pilot within the organization. Having a natural affinity for agility and strength, the Red Guardian also incorporated the use of discs worn on his belt, which he could use as a weapon. But in case some of you are still wondering, no, Red Guardian does not have some kind of super soldier serum like Captain America Steve Rogers. So no diss on the character, but in terms of skill and definitely strength, he is considerably inferior to Captain America. With that said, it looks like the MCU has made changes to Red Guardian for the big screen, as we see him doing several things in the trailer that require super strength, like kicking down a metal door. Seems like everyone is getting the super soldier serum lately in the MCU. As for some other Red Guardians besides Shostakov, you have Alexei Lebedev, the first who I mentioned earlier. But then you have the third, Dr. Tanya Belensky. She's a Russian neurosurgeon who would take on the mantle of the Red Guardian for some time. She would eventually become the nuclear powerhouse Starlight. Then we have the fourth Red Guardian, Joseph Pekis. Previously known as Red Guardian, Joseph Pekis would change his alias to Steel Guardian. He was an agent of several intelligence agencies and was also a member of the Supreme Soviets and Winter Guard. The Winter Guard essentially being Russia's Avengers. Then we have the fifth Red Guardian, Krasno Granitsky. But not much is known about his personal life. The sixth Red Guardian is Anton. Yes, I know, there's been a lot of Red Guardians. Anton claims to be an engineer and former Crimson Dynamo pilot, but was later revealed to be a life model decoy. And the seventh and last Red Guardian is Nikolai Krylenko. He's also known as Vanguard and is a powerful mutant with the ability to repel any force-directed atom, no matter what it is, and is the leader of the Winter Guard. But anyway, that's pretty much it for Red Guardian, as he doesn't really have that extensive of a history in the comics, or at least Shostakov doesn't. But just when you thought this episode was over, we got a little bonus for you. Another piece from the Black Widow movie we want to talk about is why Black Widow has a new white suit. Now, Black Widow's suit is a staple of the character. The name Black is literally in her name, so why did they give her a fancy new white one for her solo movie, and is it comic accurate? Well, the answer would be yes, it is indeed comic accurate. It made its first appearance in the miniseries Black Widow Deadly Origin 11 years ago in 2010. The series puts Widow against the mysterious Ice Pick Protocol, who suddenly attacks her beloved father figure, Ivan. With this mysterious conspiracy threatening everyone she loves, the Black Widow must untangle the decades of treachery and betrayal that have plagued her since her childhood. So she races around the world to confront and save former lovers and allies, including Daredevil, Hawkeye, Hercules, Nick Fury, and the new Captain America. With that said, a good chunk of her adventures in the series takes place in Russia. And as we know, Russia can be very cold and is covered in snow. So she donned a brand new white costume to help herself blend into her surroundings. Which seems to be the same exact reasoning she's wearing the white suit in the Black Widow movie, as a good chunk of it takes place in the frozen tundra. So while black normally helps her blend in as she's all about espionage and stealth, the white does the same thing, but for frozen environments. I could be wrong as I haven't seen the movie yet at the time of shooting this video, but you know me, I'm all about the comics, and that's the reasoning in the comics. So that's a little random comic information for anyone wondering about her white costume. But with that covered, let's wrap this up with some Red Guardian reading recommendations. Check out Avengers issue 43, then move on to Widowmaker's Red Guardian and Yelena Belova issue 1, Dark Star and the Winter Guard from 2010, and then the new Winter Guard series coming in August. That should be enough to get you all started. But that's gonna bring today's video of Variant to a close. But if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to check out this video right here on Yelena Belova and Iron Maiden. And if you like all of our videos, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment. It always helps the channel out. But other than that, I'll see you guys next time when I talk about all things comics.